lovely and darling viewers, it's Jen here at Check Her Joy. This time I'm doing my top 10 favorite reads of 2019. So these are books that I read last year, and I think these were all for the first time, maybe. But I read them last year, and I just went through my Goodreads list and picked anything that was 5 stars. I ended up with 20-something books, 23 total, and then went through and picked the 5 novels that I liked the best and the 5 graphic novels that I liked the best. Also, I didn't go around and search for all the books that I own because my house is a mess right now. Not having a library and all my books in one room is kind of messing with this. So I didn't actually find them all. Some of these I own, some of them I don't. I'll just post all the book covers right here as I talk about them. And they aren't necessarily in any kind of order. I tried to order them, but yeah, you know, it's kind of they're all amazing. It's hard to pick which ones are the most amazing. Except kind of not. So for novels that I read this year, I read The Princess and the Fangirl, which is a sequel to Geekerella. They are both by Ashley Poston. I think I reread Geekerella also this year, but I really loved The Princess and the Fangirl. So both of these revolve around the fandom around this sci-fi television show called Starfield, which is a bit like Star Trek, but its own completely different thing for this world. And they both center around these cons. In The Princess and the Fangirl, we have one girl who is like a blogger for this show, and the other girl is the actress who plays Amara, the lead character, the princess, from the sci-fi show. And the two of them interact, and they do a Prince and the Pauper thing where they switch lives because they end up looking exactly alike. And so they're both running around the con pretending to be the other one, and they get a look at the other one's life. And it's adorable, and the actress who plays Amara, I can't remember their names, it was so long ago. I should have looked up these reviews again. But basically, she's gay, and I love that representation. I love that there's like romances in here, there's LGBT representation in them, and it's just absolutely geeky. So geeky, so much fun. I love these retellings. They're faithful to the spirit of the original things they're retelling, but completely go and do their own thing also, and it's amazing. So both Geekerella and Princess and the Fangirl are amazing, but Princess and the Fangirl is the one that I read for the first time this year. Next up, I have The Lady's Guide to Petticoats and Piracy, which is by Mackenzie Lee. This is the sequel to A Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue. They are both historical young adult novels. They focus on these two siblings. The first one focuses on the brother, the second one focuses on the sister, Felicity, after their exploits in the first book. And she is trying to make it on her own. She gets involved in this crazy story with pirates, and also just dealing with what she wants to do with her life. She wants to be a doctor, trying to figure out how to study that. But she's not going to go the route of, like, dressing up as a guy to be a doctor, which is something that some women did. They would just pass off as guys and be like, okay, I'm going to go study medicine. I'm going to do it as a man. I'm going to live as a man from now on. And Felicity's not going to do that. She wants to stay true to herself. So we see her struggling with finding somebody who will teach her and take her seriously. And at the same time, there's all this crazy stories going on. Her brother's getting into more antics. And we're also dealing with Felicity is an asexual character, so she's not interested in romance, she's not interested in getting married, but all these other people are showing her like attention and affection and how she deals with that. We also just need more asexual leads, especially since they aren't bogged down by romance, so they can go have crazy adventures and not have it be all romantic, which frankly we need and I loved. So it was just really well done, and I love Mackenzie Lee's writing and the worlds that she builds. For my next pick is The Bride Test by Helen Huang. This is a adult romance. It focuses on 2 main characters. One is from this poor family in Vietnam, and she gets given the chance to become a mail order bride, basically, an arranged marriage for this guy in the States who is of Vietnamese background, but like his grandparents came over, so he's like 2nd generation American, I think. Anyway, he has autism, and I'm pretty sure it's Asperger's syndrome. And so he doesn't process relationships and function the same way that somebody else would, and he wants companionship, but he's not overly affectionate. He's not very physical, and so it's a very difficult relationship between the culture divide. We have the main character coming to the U.S., and she's got to get him to agree to marry her within a certain time period, or she goes back to Vietnam, and she's just not making much money over there, and she's got a family to support, including a daughter, which complicates things. So, and the entire book is just so adorable. Actually, adorable is the wrong word. The whole book is so interesting with their two different life perspectives, and just really dealing with the immigrant experience, and also dealing with autism, but still being able to find romance, and actually, like, they do fall in love, and it's great. It's amazing. I ate it up. I loved it. Next on my list is Good Omens by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. I actually hadn't read it before. I had bought it like 10, 15 years ago. It's been on my shelf for a while, but it wasn't until the show with Neil Gaiman writing it and David Tennant starring in it that I was like, I need to read this book now. It's time. So I'm glad that I did. It is a satirical look, kind of playing with this whole idea of religion and Armageddon specifically, good versus evil, and it centers around an angel and a demon that maybe don't necessarily feel particularly attached to their roles. So we have an angel, Aziraphale, who's supposed to be like all good, but also he really loves humans, and is more worried about humanity than like God's grand plan. And we have Crowley is the demon. Wow, I know why I blanked on him. And he is like, humans did some good things. Why do we have to be awful all the time? Grand scheme, blah blah blah. I'm just gonna go enjoy life. And the two of them are like friends. They've both been on Earth for so long that they're just like best buddies. And I love it, even though they're on opposite sides of the spectrum. It's like the most unlikely pairing. And all of this is happening while we have this young boy named Adam Young, who is the Antichrist. He is born, he's Satan's spawn, and is raised by normal humans. There's a mix-up, he got lost. They think somebody else is supposed to be the Antichrist because of like the babies got mixed up at birth. But Adam just grows up to like love life and love humanity and just want to be a kid. And all this, like, it's about religion, but it's also about what it means to be human. And it's great. And it's so funny. So funny. And also crazy and just absurd. It's absurdist humor. It's great. I love it. And the last novel I have, which is probably the best, even better than Good Omens, like, it was really good, is With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. So we have this Afro-Latino woman, a teenager in high school, and she has a kid. She got pregnant. The kid is now 2 years old, and it's kind of tragic because it was the only time she had sex, really, and she just got pregnant, and now she's got this baby, and she's already from a poor family, but made even worse because now they have another dependent. So she is living with her grandmother. The grandmother's helping take care of the baby, but like she also is trying to go to school. She's got to graduate, trying to work second jobs, while still having time to care for her kid and have a relationship. And I just loved everything about this. Like, her passion is for cooking and getting into that and deciding whether or not she can afford to like go become a cook, because it's such a weird lifestyle and such weird hours and so much, it takes so much out of you. And can she actually do that while still raising a baby? And the writing in it is very like poetic, but it's still prose, and it's amazing writing. The character development is amazing. The world building is amazing. It deals with very complicated issues, but also feels very in the moment and very personable and very like, this is important because it infects this one person, and it was so good. So moving on to graphic novels, I decided I was only going to pick one My Little Pony comic, so my favorite one that I read last year was the Nightmare Knights story. It has 5 reformed villains, quasi-villains, who band together to save Equestria in a way that the good guys couldn't have done. So it's led by Princess Luna, who is Nightmare Moon, and she enlists the help of Capper, the cat from the movie, along with Trixie, and I can't remember the other two. But, like, this group of villains join together to go save Equestria, and they can do it in a way that only villains can, because they're going into this realm that only you have to have like a certain potential for evil to get in, and so that's what actually ends up saving the day, as well as using their own skills, and it's just so good, so good. I loved Moonstruck Volume 1. This one is it's a crazy like a modern college world, but all the people who go there are like mythological creatures. So, like, one of our main characters is a werewolf, and I just love the world building in this, and, like, the characters themselves were just so awesome. It has LGBT themes, and just, I love sci-fi worlds, guys. It's just the college setting, like, everything about it was just fun. So, Moonstruck was fun. I also have Bingo Love, which is about these two women who fell in love during, like, I think the 60s or something, but because of the time period, they both go off and marry men and, like, have separate lives and, like, drift apart. But, like, the person they're really in love with is this other woman, and so when they're older, they meet up again, and they reconnect, and they do end up getting married, but, like, as an older couple, like, in, like, senior citizens, and it's just adorable. And we get to see their lives roll out and the difficulties of what it used to be like versus how it's much easier now. And they also have like how their families react to this. And the title of Bingo Love comes from like them originally meeting and bonding at like a church bingo game that their mothers took them to, and like that's how they met and how like they reconnect again later at a bingo game, and it's great. So everything about that was cute and adorable, and I loved it. Then I have Love and Capes by Tom Zoller. This one plays with superhero story, like the superhero stories. Like the main character is oddly similar to Superman and his like powers, but it's focusing on his everyday life and his relationship with the woman that he ends up marrying. Like we go from when she first finds out that he's a superhero, and when they get engaged, there's 5 volumes now, but like their relationship as it progresses and how the superhero stuff like interferes with that, but also how it makes them stronger and how the two of them, their relationship is, and I love that. Like that's always my favorite part of like Superman stories is like how they deal with their everyday life. It's not necessarily the fighting and saving, and we see a little bit of that, but it's mostly focusing on the relationship, and it's a romantic comedy. It's super adorable, and like they're best friends who are also superheroes, and how that like ties in, and it's just so cute. And my favorite one this year that I read was Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell and Aaron Hicks. I'm gonna post authors down and just artists down in the description below. So Pumpkinheads takes place at Halloween. It's actually Halloween night at a pumpkin patch, and we have these 2 teenagers who have been working there all throughout high school. This is their last Halloween together, their last year working at the pumpkin patch, and they decide to go do all the things that they have been putting off because this is their last shot. So they basically Skype off work for the night. They're cutting work, and running around the pumpkin patch and just having adventures. And it is so cute and adorable, and they're chasing this one girl that the guy's had a crush on the entire time he's been working there. And we see their relationship and like how they're like only friends at the pumpkin patch, and like is this gonna be our last time? Like, are we gonna survive not working at the pumpkin patch together? Like, can we still be friends outside of work? And looking at what they're gonna do with college, and it's like they're at this like turning point where they're growing up and they have to go make decisions, and how it's not really realistic for them to think that they're going to come back every fall and work at the pumpkin patch because classes and everything, and it's not just weekends. And it was so cute and so much fun, and I love Halloween so much, and this book definitely felt like Halloween and the best of fall and all the things that I adore, while having absolutely adorable main characters and character-focused graphic novel. Everything about Pumpkinheads was amazing. It's like I had to go buy it and like reread it like 3 times this year. That's how much I love Pumpkinheads. So it was amazing. It is definitely like the best graphic novel that I read this year. So, there is my top 10 picks for my favorite reads of 2019. I will post the full reviews, which are much longer, if you want to know more. Let me know what your favorite reads were. Did you love or hate any of these? Is there something else I read this year that you were like, why isn't that on the list? Some of these, especially the graphic novels, it was really hard. Which one do I like more? So yeah. Peace out. I love you guys and keep reading. Bye.